Hey everybody, it's Mark from Northeast Bass Fishing, and not surprisingly, I guess I should say, it's another lousy day here in New Jersey. We got like 2 inches of rain coming between the next 2 days, and it has warmed up a little, but I'm not out on the boat today with the wind and the rain that we have on the reservoirs. We do have good news here in New Jersey. Our state parks are going to open back up this weekend, so we'll have some more fishing options. I won't have to fish the same 4 lakes over and over again. So that will be nice. The things are kind of opening up a little bit. You still got to stay away from people, but at least those lakes, on some of those park lakes will have some options. So I've been down here in my basement, tackle shop, just kind of organizing stuff like I've been doing for the last 3 months. And I found I have 2 huge boxes, plastics, of old stuff and just some stuff that I've taken off the pegboard, some older stuff. And I was just going to go through it and just kind of show you guys some of these old baits, and some are old, not so old, and stuff I haven't used anymore, and maybe I'll find something out here that I actually want to use again. So just kind of looking at this, and some of the plastic bags are ripping apart and everything, but I'm just going to go through this stuff, and you guys can look at some of this stuff, and I may not remember the name of it or where I bought it when I did get it, and maybe some of you guys that watch this actually know. You can post, in the comments, you can post what this stuff is. Let's see. I'm just going to just dig through here. I know these are missile baits. I don't remember what they call this. I think it's like a craw something, missile craw. More of like I guess a drop shot bait. But yeah, it's an old, not that old of a missile baits. I don't know if this is one of their, in their lineup still. But you could Ned that, drop shot it. I'm sure I probably have a bunch of these in a box somewhere, and these must have been just a couple extra bags that I put away. It's like a black blue there. This one looks like a green pumpkin. So missile baits, missile craw, I think that's what they call this. Like I said, hey, drop shot it. Throw it on a Ned head. Like I said, some of the reasons these are not actually like in a box or hanging up, they probably just ran out of space. You take the older stuff down and you put new stuff up. So that's the first few things in there. These look like, I know, these are old Yamamoto twin tail grubs. And I think when I bought these back in the day, I know I have an old video. This one probably actually must have had a hook in it because it's got a little rust mark on it. I know back in the day I had seen an article maybe. Used to be a magazine that had a lot of Yamamoto articles. I think it was the Fishing Line or something like that. It might just be an online magazine now. But I used to get that. They used to have a lot of articles with, it was a Western, Western magazine. They had a lot of Yamamoto articles. And I know I have a video somewhere on a videotape where they would take this big, I think there's a 5-inch double-tailed grub, and just put like a big 4 or 5-aught hook in it and like a swivel and tie it on and just burn this across the top, almost run it like a topwater bait. And that's probably why I bought these, to try it out back in, back when I saw that video. But that's like a green, I guess that's like a pepper, chartreuse pepper type color. Got it in a white. I guess that's a smoke there. These are all the same baits. Looks like a pearl silver. I remember trying it a few times and having really some nice action. I don't remember preferring it to like a buzzbait or anything like that. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, some old Tournament Series Bass Pro worms. They must have just chucked in this box. If you guys like big worm fishing, there's an old Tournament Series Bass Pro. What color that is? It's kind of faded. Like a blue. Not sure what that is. Black bluish. That's a 10-inch worm. That's your Bass Pro Tournament 10-inch worm. Got some Strike King here. KBD. That's in the box. What's this? Finesse worm. 12 pack, blue fleck. I'm not sure if this is a 12-inch or a 10-inch. Let's check it out. Oh, it's not a 10-inch. It's probably a 7-inch. Blue fleck. I'm going to say that's probably a 7-inch worm, maybe 6. Old KVD perfect plastic worm. And like I said, some of these are older than other things. Oh, let's see. You guys remember these? I don't know if this, like some of these companies, I don't even know if they still exist. You guys remember these old Madman craws? Really realistic looking craws? A couple bags of those laying there. I remember flipping these around back in the day on Greenwood Lake and stuff, and catch a fish every now and then, but I never really fell in love with it as like a flipping bait, but pretty realistic craw. So, I mean, I don't know if Madman craws are still around. They may be. But they're definitely realistic looking. I think these were probably better, not so much for flipping, but just like putting like almost like a tube hook, tube jig hook in there, just almost running it like a tube, and have that hook right there. I think that's how we used to do these. That's the old Madman craw. Like I said, I don't know if they make some of these anymore. If you guys have ever thrown this Okeechobee rig from Seismic. Is Seismic still a company? I think so. I'm not sure. Let me check on Tackle Warehouse. That's an old jig that you could buy. A whole rig set up there. I'm not sure if Seismic... Because Seismic, I still buy some of their plastic frogs. I don't see it on. So you guys out there may know better than I do. No, I don't see Seismic on Tackle Warehouse, but that doesn't mean they don't exist, I suppose. These are some old... Oh, this bag's ripped. I'll show you these. This is an old bag of... I used to flip these a lot. Used to do really well like on Lake Apacon and stuff. Play in green places where there's dirty water. I'm not sure who used to make these worms. These ribbon type worms. This is the curly tail one. Like you see, like the bag is like ripped apart and falling apart. So I have to put some new bags on these things. But they're two different types. One with the curly tail, and one with this like flapping tail. That's the flapping tail one. This is like a black neon, and I have always loved this color everywhere I've gone. And I'm not sure who used to make these. I don't know if it was Riverside. I can't remember. I don't know if Riverside is even still a company. I don't know if they became Yum. I don't know. But there's another bag of them. This other bag is like torn apart. Another bag of them I had from back in the day. So I'm sure I probably have these in a plain old box somewhere that I used to flip. But I probably had so many of them that I just stacked some away in this box. I don't know where these came from. This looks like just like a regular... You know, and some of this stuff I might have bought at like outdoor shows over the years, or from small companies on eBay. It's a nice, actually. I probably bought this as a jig trailer for swim jigs or something. Nice, small double tail grub, kind of a cool color. It's actually a nice looking bait right there. Some of these are really slimy, so dry my hands off. Let's see if you guys throw these. I've got a ton of these. I know that years ago, Bass Assassin had a big blowout sale. You see the Bass Assassin label there. I don't know if they still sell these. If they might, this might have been their clearance. I just want to get rid of them. These old Stingray type little jigs. So I don't know if these are 100 packs or 50 packs. I think this says count. I think that says 166. So they must have had some kind of a blowout where they just wanted to get rid of them. So they may not even sell these anymore. So if anybody likes Stingrays and you want to buy some, I got a lot here. If that's 166 in there, I don't know. That looks like a smoke color. And it might be 100 count. Here's another different color of it. Another 100 count. So these can still work on the reservoirs. And if you're, you throw that as like a Ned rig as anything else. But another color of those. I'm going to assume these are 100 pound, not 166. It's just probably faded. But I got lots of these. So it must have just cleared them out when they like a watermelon. All these different colors of these stingray heads. Some white ones. Not many white ones. This one's kind of cool. That chartreuse tail. Take one of those out and show it to you. I can see the smallies still eating that. Problem is, I'll see stuff in here and start liking it, and then I'll have more crap in the boat than I already do. More of them. It's like looks like a smoke with like a smoke red, like a gold. These are all those stingray types. Like I said, Bass Assassin made those. I don't know any other companies that make those still, but I'm certainly stocked up for a long time. Let's see what else we got here. Here's a box of a bag of old Gulp. And I can remember when I first bought Gulp and found out, like most of us found out probably the hard way, how quick this stuff dries out and is really no good anymore. So a lot of these, even after you take this off and it's sealed, they don't really, at least nowadays you can throw them in that jug and kind of bring them back to life a little bit. But this is some, Gulp worms. I remember using these up on Cayuga, I think, one year, and they really worked well. But some of these feel pretty stiff, so I would imagine these are old and dried out. Whether I can bring them back to life or even really want to. These ones feel pretty good, so this one's never been opened. Any of these ones that have been opened, this one actually doesn't feel too bad. We can see all these old Gulp worms, and I used to always keep them in pack. You don't want them leaking all over. They smell like crap. So you don't want them leaking all over your boat. But these are, it's so old you can't even really see the... Some of these don't feel too bad. Like they're too dried out. Some of these are some of these are probably no good. I could probably chuck them, but I'll try to bring them back to life first. Like these are like hard as a rock. So that was always the problem with Gulp when it first came out, was that, if you didn't use it that day, you might as well throw it away. The rest of the ones in the pack, a lot of times these packs would go to hell. But that's some old Gulps. I should probably go through them. You guys might have seen this. But you can buy one of these containers, and this has like all my Gulp stuff in it now. And when I want to bring something back to life, I'll just stick it in here with all that Gulp juice, and usually it'll bring them back to life. Let's see what else we got. Some old Kalen's grubs. Looks like some smoked grubs. They're from Kalen's in this bag. I don't know this bag. What do we got here? Yum craw bug. I don't know. Does Yum still make a craw bug? Kind of looks like that Madman craw. Pretty much almost looks the same. Black neon, a color I really like. One of my favorite colors to throw. There's the Yum craw bug. These old pre-rigged worms. I'm sure you guys have been fishing a while. You probably got these laying around somewhere. These pre-rigged worms. Gosh, I can't remember the last time I threw those. These are big packs, so this must have been either, when you get a 50 count or something, like just a regular green pumpkin worm. I don't know who made this worm. But a nice green pumpkin worm from back in the day. That's probably what this bag's going to be, yeah, because here's the same worm, but black and blue. Man, these things are really, must have a lot of, I can't even open that up. But you can see it through the pack. Black and blue. Whoa, bags are tearing. I'm not much of a Senko guy, but I did like this color. This is the black neon with that chartreuse tail. I must have bought a huge pack of this on eBay or at some outdoor show, on sale, because you can see the pack here, and both sides are ripping on the bag, and they're falling out all over the place. So, like I said, I'm not a big Senko guy, but even if we don't throw them a lot, we still got a lot of them. That's That must have been some big value pack, probably a 50 pack I bought at one point somewhere. Get the rest of them out of here that have fallen out. So if you guys like this color, I got them. Okay, I think there might be a couple more in here. So I'm gonna have to get some new bags for these things. What do we got here? I think that's just an old power worm. Just an old power worm in there. So I must have just took a bunch of worms and thrown them in here. I don't remember who used to make these these type of worms. I don't know if that was Robo Worm that made them. I can't remember. Like I said, if you guys see any of this stuff and you go, hey, I remember what that's called, you can throw it in the comments there. Different types of worms. And when I see a lot of these old, smaller worms, I think of how good, you know, now that I do more, you know, now that drop shotting is more of a thing. I mean, that would be really a cool drop shot bait. I don't know who made this, where I got it, but that would be cool. Little eyes on it. It's like a watermelon red. That would be a good, I could probably go through these boxes and make 3 or 4 drop shot kits out of. That would all be good. Yeah, a lot of these worms, these small worms would all be good. This I think could be a power worm or it could be a Yamamoto. Once I get it out, this is probably a Yamamoto. I mean, these would all these finesse worms would be great for drop shot, or even you know, now that Ned rigging is so popular, just on a Ned head. You know, all this stuff is probably in here because it's more finessey stuff, and you know how much I love to do that, so that's probably why it's not in there. But any of these little worms on a Ned or a drop shot would be great. So I may have to make a kit with some of these. And some of this stuff is so slimy from all the scent on it. Like these, I can remember when I got these worms. I don't know if it has a name on them, but I have no idea or can remember who made these. I don't know if these were Mans or I just can't remember. So long ago. But I mean, these would all. It's not like this stuff won't still work, you know. But you know, we get new stuff. You move on from the old stuff, and an old power bait, pulse worm. Another bait that would be great for a drop shot. But yeah, this stuff is slimy. So that's that bag. So worms, finesse worms are all put together in there. Let's see. These aren't really, I mean, you can still, you know, people still love throwing a brush hog. I like throwing the big brush hog. And I think this is the 6-inch one or 7-inch one. That's the bigger size. And I have a ton of these. I probably just had so many hung up. I mean, that's all brush hogs right there. In the bigger size. I don't know if I have any of the smaller size ones. But, you know, watermelon red. You know, all great. You know, I used to love flipping these. Brush hog, root beer, pepper, green pumpkin. You know, these are all great colors. And I love when I see, like, the prices on them, what they were then when I bought them, what they are now. Black sapphire. So, I mean, I don't have to go through all these. You guys have all seen brush hogs before. This is a baby brush hog. It's actually good for flipping, too. Brush hogs, lots of brush hogs. This bag is all brush hogs. And that's not even counting all the plain old boxes of brush hogs I got up there. So this is the brush hog bag right here. So that's brush hogs. Oh, what do we got here? An old Venom. Old Venom. Not old. I say old. Click and Craw, a 2-inch. Now, Venom may still make this craw. I don't know. But you could certainly throw that on a Ned head. Throw that on a drop shot. I like that color. It's a great color. Crawdad. Yeah, that's great. Nice little finesse Venom craw bait. Now, like I said, I don't know if they still make these. But that's their 2-inch crack and crawl. I believe this is Lake Fork Tackle tube craws, and I love flipping tube craws. Kind of gotten away from it in the last few years, using more beaver style baits, but I believe this is a Lake Fork Tackle, if I'm not mistaken. Tube craw. I used to love the old Strike King tube craws, and there's some lakes around here where this bait still is my favorite to flip at. All right. Spike It. Spike It makes dye. They only have the dye, but they also have some soft plastics. I don't know if they're still in the soft plastic business, but they did have these real tree craws that they came out with one year. And I can remember throwing them a little bit. It was nothing great. I think it was kind of more of a gimmicky thing. They look kind of cool, the different colors. But I mean, any of this stuff, if you went out and threw it around today, you'd catch fish for sure. It's all good. It's all good. But that's the Spike It Real Tree Craw. Innovative lures. Sometimes I just looking at all these old packs. I don't know what they call this one. Crawfish, hardwoods, camo, I think is what the name of that one is. So I have no idea what this bag is. Looks like just I remember these. I mean, some of this stuff is so old. I mean, on that pack, KVD looks like he's about 17 years old. These old corkscrew glow in the dark trailers. I mean, this is probably 90s stuff. I mean, I'm guessing. These old packs of these things, where it would be glow in the dark. You can put it on your spinnerbait or whatever. I don't even know if these would work still. That bag's kind of falling apart. If you guys remember that old bait. What's all this? Gambler Minnow Lures. That's an old school underspin right there. Gambler Minnow. Never been out of the pack. If you guys remember the North American Fishing Club, I was a member of that back in the day. And they used to always throw in stuff with your magazine or some hooks and some swivels. So another old school thing. If you remember that, if you remember the North American Fishing Club, I guess that's some stickers and some hooks. They used to always send you those little goodies when you get your stuff. An old blue fox. Probably work right now. The way these fish are biting. And I always say old. Some of these things obviously are not as old as the other. I have no idea what this is. Looks like just some beetle spin type baits. I have no idea what this is. Mustad. Tubing of some kind. Maybe for trailer hooks. I don't know. You just chop it up. I have no idea. Looks like more corkscrews. That looks like probably came with a reel I got. Old power bait. Atomic tubes. I don't know. Does power bait still make those? Go catch some crappie or some bluegill or something, or some perch. Nah, I'm not gonna. Oh, yeah, there's something I've seen in a long time. Looks like some bass pins. I don't know where we got these from. Did these come from North American Fishing Club or something? I don't remember. I got bass pins here. I don't know if you guys remember these things. I haven't seen these in years, and I used them a little when they first came out, but I guess they really haven't stuck. I haven't heard of anybody that used them. I don't know if they could still be made. I mean, you guys all have these things. A bunch of these are still in there. I don't know who makes this one. Deep Super Vibrex. All these inline spinners here. Got a bunch of those. Those will still work. You guys remember I think these were called front runners. If you guys remember this, I don't even know. They may still make them. You would, if you'd like to say you're crankbaiting, I guess you could throw a spinnerbait or whatever. But if you're really for crankbaiting, tie your line to this end, and then tie your leader line, and then your crankbait here. And so then you've got the crankbait chasing this. This is supposed to be the bait that the crankbait's chasing in theory. And maybe they'll bite this, or maybe they'll bite your crankbait. But it was a bigger size. I would have to change these hooks because they feel really rusty if I ever wanted to try to do this again. But it was I remember it always being kind of a pain in the ass to kind of set it up. But I think front runners is what they were called. They may still make these. People may still use them. I don't know. But that's definitely something old school. I have no idea what this is. This is probably you know, when you would join Bass back in the day and renew every year, sometimes they would send you, you know, a box with a lure. And this is the original deep diving wobbling bait, the Rush Tango. Now, this thing obviously has never been in the water, never been out of this box. Who knows? Maybe this will be worth something someday. But that's what it looks like. Rush Tango. Now, I'm sure if you went around and trolled this around the lake, these hooks are pretty sharp. You'd probably catch something. But with that lip, that thing must dive pretty deep. The ideal bait for trolling or casting, manufactured by U.S. specialty company Syracuse, New York. Now, I don't know if that's a company that still exists. But who knows? Maybe, for all I know, maybe this is some classic bait that's worth, you know, a couple $100. Or it's worth nothing. But that's an old Bass Pro. The Rush Tango Swimming Minnow. It floats when not in action. So that's one of those old Bass Pro handout gift type things you got back in the day when you became a member. Here's some more craw tubes. Like I said, black neon, great color. Now I don't know if these are Lake Fork ones for sure. I can't remember all the different companies that used to make them. Some of these I might have bought from a company on eBay. I know there's one company, I think they're out in Minnesota, they may still be on eBay, that had good deals for like bulk purchases, and so that's the black neon one. Let's see what else we got here. This I believe is a Mega Strike. So I probably just have too many in my box and I can't fit anymore. But the old Mega Strike, Mega Bug, one of the flipping baits I really like. This is a great flipping bait up on my mom's lake up in New York, Great Saugatuck. I always done really well with them up on there. But that's a red shad color, I believe. That's your Mega Strike Mega Bug. Nice flipping bait. More Yum craw bugs. I always figure I probably bought all this stuff around the same time when craws like this became popular. That's probably when I bought all them. It's like a black blue. And like I say, guys, this stuff I'm sure all works. But, you know, we buy new stuff and we move on from the old stuff. More Gulp. And this hasn't been opened, so this one feels pretty good. It's a little hard. It's a 6-inch sandworm. So this is something I really should do, is go through these Gulps and try and bring them back to life. Polly's worms. I don't know if Polly's worms still exist. I used to see them, I think, at the outdoor show, Suffering and down there. And I always buy some stuff every year. Nice little worm. I'm sure you catch fish on it. I could put that on a Ned rig probably in a couple weeks and go out and catch fish on it. But I think this is just one of those local companies. Polly's worms, I think they're kind of a northeastern company. You see them at the outdoor shows. It's their, and all this stuff is kind of faded off of here. Yeah. Polly worms in Slattersville, Rhode Island. So if they're still around and still making baits, there's a shout out to you. Here's a craw. There are a couple of them here. I don't know where I got this. I don't know what it's called. I'm sure it's probably something I got online at some point or at a show, like I said. I don't even know if I can open this up. I mean, this is so slimy. I don't know who makes these, but this must have been something else when that... I don't know if you can see how slimy it is on my fingers. But a very realistic looking craw, which I probably saw either at a show or online. Said, oh, I got to try those, and probably flipped them around for 2 days and then put them away. But a craw like that, you know, nowadays, the way I fish, I'd probably snip that weird-looking tail off, and you can make a jig trailer out of it, because it's definitely realistic. Nice color. But like I said, I have no idea. If somebody knows who that is, good job. Whether they're still around, who knows? But it's another color. It's a pumpkin. It's more like a watermelon. They are slimy. I believe these are Yamamoto worms. That's a Yamamoto, black blue. No scent. But I'm pretty sure that's a Yamamoto worm. Oh, let's see. We got some rage tail worms, power bait worms, chigger crows, power bait. Here's another pack of those Spike It Real Tree ones when they came out back in the day. this one? This is green camo. The other one, I guess, was just camo. I mean, they are cool. You know, I can remember flipping them, you know, using them as jig trailers and stuff. They were okay. I don't remember being anything that was that earth-shattering. But kind of neat. I don't know if Spike It still makes any soft plastic. But that's their old Realtree craws. Let's see. Looks like a big sweet beaver here. That's the big one. So I probably don't have room in the box, and I probably got this color in there and couldn't fit the rest of them in. I think that's Big Texan. You guys would probably know that are better with color, remembering color names than I am. I think that's their Big Texan color. I love flipping those around. I'm not throwing a jig. Oh, let's see. This is an old company I haven't seen in a while. Kid Lizard. Now, do they exist still? I don't know. And that actually might be where that tube craw is, because I think Kid Lizard made a tube craw that I liked, that I used to buy. But this is one of their craws. So that's a Kid Lizard. Like I said, old company. Don't know if they're still around. Kid Lizard craw. And I mean, this is just a, you know, like a classic crawfish color that everybody makes, which is awesome. You know, the green pumpkin and the orange. And this, you don't need to snip the end off, but you know, it's got a nice solid tail. You could Ned that. I maybe chop that down and Ned it. You know, use it as a jig trailer. You know, because we need 700 different types of jig trailers. So, and you know, there we go. Here it is. Now here's Kid Lizard, and this is their tube craw, and this is a color I used to really throw a lot. And that's, I think, the same color as that craw. Do they just call that crawfish? I can't. Everything's so faded on the packages. Crawfish orange swirl. Yeah. So I would assume this is crawfish orange swirl too. But this thing, when this Kid Lizard color came out and I started throwing, this was killer around here. Especially on my lakes up here in Highland where we have a lot of crayfish. This thing was killer. I'm sure it still is, but you got to throw it. But that's the Kid Lizard version of the tube craw. And I used to buy those a lot. Here's another Yum. I don't know if this is a different type of craw. Probably the same, but that's Yum. That's, I believe, is that watermelon or a green pumpkin? Green pumpkin. Another Yum craw. So you can see how organized this box is. Not organized at all. Everything's just thrown in here. Sweet Beavers. Another of the big size. I don't throw the big size as much. Is that 4.5 or 4.25, whatever it is? Sweet Beavers. It's more of those, another pack of that Click and Crawl from Venom. I didn't know this was in here. I should put this in with my other Elastec stuff now that I have that more organized. This is the Crawdad Z from Z-Man. I didn't realize that was in here. I could throw that on one of my Neds. I'd probably snip that off. You know, I think a lot of this stuff might have come out before the Ned thing really became a thing with Z-Man. But that's their little craw. Orange claws, killer. But that's a Z-Man craw. I'm going to leave that to the side. That might have to go with my other Yamamoto stuff. That is the Mega Strike bait, but a tiny one. You want to talk about a bait you can use throwing Neds? That little Mega Bug, the tiny one, that is a good one. I think the reason this is in here is because I have a box with them piled in and I couldn't fit them. Oh, let's see. There's more Yamamoto worms. You know, I mean, if you guys are worm fishermen, they're great worms. I just really don't throw a worm as much as I used to be honest with you. But we all got 1,000 of them. But this was a good color. Here's more of that Yamamoto, that double tail. It's a June bug one. So I may try that on top again. What the heck? It did have a good action. You know, buzzing that across the top. But you could snip that down, use it as a jig trailer. Whatever. These things all have their uses. These, I believe, are like spinnerbait trailers. Different spinnerbait trailers, chartreuse. A little double tail. Same thing here in white. You know, I just kind of use grubs as spinnerbait trailers now. I believe that's another Yamamoto worm. Small 4-inch finesse worm. Like a smoke color. This is all good stuff. All good stuff. Oh, what's this? Yum. Mighty Craw. This is just a flipping craw from Yum. I don't know if they have this exact style anymore, or they call it something different. There's another Yum bait. I should get all these. I'm gonna when I actually organize this, I'm gonna have Yum and everything split up. Zoom and everything split up where it belongs. Another worm. This is a Zoom U-tail worm. If they still make that, I'm not sure. Can't tell what the price was back in the day or where I bought it. But Poor Boys Baits. They make a lot of tubes and drop shot stuff. You know, some of this stuff you get is, you know, gets thrown in with orders over the years. You know, really, it's like you know, Poor Boys. It's like a little craw type thing. You know, and some of this stuff now is, you know, more useful to me now that, you know, I throw Ned type baits more, which I never would do in a million years till, you know, the last few. But some of this smaller stuff actually does have some value now to me, you know, using it in that way. If you want to just show them something different, because they're, you know, eventually they're going to get, you know, see that Ned so much they might turn off to it. There's that worm again, that 6-inch. I'm going to say a 6-inch worm. That's a June bug. Nice, good looking stuff. I don't know what this pulled off of. Must have been a big pack of some power bait thing. Gambler Flappy Daddy. Only 3 of them in there, so either I used them all up or I got them in a box somewhere and couldn't fit the rest of the other 3. But another. This is. I probably bought these. I think I got 1 year. It's a really cool color. That'd be a cool on my spinnerbait. I think I bought these 1 year up at Wacky Worm, which is a really good store up in Pennsylvania. I think this is one of the bulk packs I probably bought there. That kind of looks familiar, but that's really a cool color. I should throw that on a spinnerbait again and give it a shot. That'd be a nice spinnerbait trailer right there. But I think that's just one of the value packs back in the day I got at Wacky Worm. I'm trying to remember. Craw bug. There's the June bug one. I don't remember buying so many of those craw bugs. More of the Madmans. Those Madman craws. Fish Blaster Baits. Anybody ever hear of Fish Blaster Baits? I don't know. Some outdoor show 1 year I got them probably. This is a Iron Claw, 4-inch Iron Claw. Black grape, red gold flake. Looks cool. I don't see any address on here, so I don't know where they're out of or when I got them. But, you know, I go to outdoor shows for a lot of years, so stuff does pile up. But, you know. Whew. Nice smell. I mean, they all look cool. I'm sure I liked them when I bought them. I thought I had to have it. But, not sure where that one came from. This, I don't remember who made these. This was an old creature bait when creature baits first became like a thing. You know, the worm body with the claws, and I'm sure if it came out, I bought a ton of them. Green pumpkin. I don't remember who made these. I always go back to Riverside and places like that, companies like that, but I'm not sure. More of the Sweet Beaver. That's a black neon. That's the big size. I probably had the big size out because it probably was just kind of too cramped up in the boxes. Oh, what we got here? Slim Shaky Worm from Berkeley Power Baits. There we go. Zoom. Big bag of Zoom worms. I could literally just take this box out and go fishing and be fine. With stuff I don't even use anymore. Kalen's Grubs. It's more. Here's more of that. Whoa, bags are ripping. This is that. This is that Missile Baits crawl bait again. Green pumpkin. Looks like a June bug. Some more down here. It's probably. This is probably where this was probably stuck on this. This is probably I bought this big pack, and this is. I'm sure I got this at Wacky Worm because whenever I buy these big value packs, I would do it when I go up to Wacky Worm. And I think this is just a big 10-inch power bait worm. Whew. So I probably could only fit so many in one of my Plano boxes, so the rest are in here. Old culprit, 7.5 inch. It says 7.5 inch. Looks kind of small for that, but culprit worm. You guys who like culprit, there's an old culprit grape worm. When I was really started getting into fishing, grape worms was like what we threw. Grape slider worms, and then every worm I bought was grape. This is that fish blaster again. Yeah, I'm not gonna open that up. You guys saw that before. It's the same crawl, but it's in black. They don't have the colors of all. Oh, maybe the colors on there. Black, red, and gold flake. That's a cool looking crawl. Cool looking crawl. This might be a Yum crawl also. I don't remember. That's just a black blue crawl. I'm trying to remember the packs. That might have been a Yum. Sometimes the packs just rip or break and you put it in one of these plastic bags. Like that one there. I don't know if that's a Strike King. Might be. Clamshell. It's probably a Strike King that I threw in there. This looks like slider worms, Bass Pro grubs, different grubs. And just to go through that would take me I don't know how long. But that's all looks like Bass Pro grubs and just small slider worm type grubs. So you guys know what grubs look like. I'm gonna have to go through that. Looks like more of the missile baits. It's more of those. I showed you the. Well, actually, this is a different grub. This is a single tail grub. This could be. This is the same style as that other one. So I'm going to assume. I'm going to imagine I got both these from Wacky Worm. Wacky Worm. Good store. If you ever get up to, if you're in the Pennsylvania area. I missed the spring sale this year, unfortunately. But slider worms. Little green slider worms there. If nothing else fails, go out and throw a slider worm. I bet you catch them. Rattling finesse worm by Storm. That's old. It even comes with the hooks in there. I can't imagine that. I can't believe they're not rusting all up. But some of this stuff is old. Slider worm, June bug. This used to be my favorite, other than the grape. This black with the chartreuse tail of the slider worm. Catch fish everywhere around here with it. Oh, what do we got here? This looks like old swim baits. I'll actually open this one up. This would be interesting because when swim baits first started, I thought they were kind of crappy. Now they're certainly a lot different than they are now. Old little hair jigs in there. It's more like crappie jigs, or I don't know what you catch with these. I'm sure you could probably catch a smallie. This stuff is old. Old tubes. That's got a hook on it. That's got to be rusty as hell. Some old tubes. Wow. Castaic Soft Bait Company. Threadfin shad. That's a Castaic, and that's the replacement tails you used to get. I wish that's had a date on it, but this has got to be 20 years old, 15 years old. You get those swim baits from Castaic, and then the tail would, get destroyed after a while, and they give you you buy the replacement tail. I'm sure eventually I'll come across the actual bait. Old Storm. A little tube. I don't remember who made these. It was like tubes inside of like little swim bait heads. These might have been like made by Cabela's. I can't remember the names of these companies. These were like that's the tube again inside the swim bait, the little swim bait. This was a company that made. Actually, it says something on the tail. Maybe I'll be able to remember the name. They made all these. They made these little catfish. I guess that's what they were. I don't know if I could read with that. It says on there. Yeah, it's hard to tell what it says on the tail. Kind of faded. If I could see one, I'd read it to you, but I can't really tell what it says. If I figure it out, I'll let you know. But these were like these little, I don't know who made these. They came with that little head. I'm going to get one of the heads out. Came with this little head. This little, like, it's like they're mini catfish. And I'm sure this hook is probably crap, but kind of neat idea. I wish I could see that name. I don't remember where these came from. Almost looks like it says lizard, but I don't know why I would say lizard on it. Gets it. All right, gets it. Couldn't tell. So Gets It must have made these at some point. They may still make them for all I know. That's a Gets It bait. All right, cool. I couldn't remember. See, companies, you got to put your name on your bait side, so people like me, when they go through this stuff 20 years down the road, we don't forget what it's called. So I must have got these from Gets It back in the day. These little, catfish baits. And we got Storm, swim baits, Matsuo America, little swim baits. You guys can see that. More of those little tubes with those little. And I mean, I'm sure all, like I keep saying, this stuff will work if we went through it, you know, but we got new stuff. I mean, these hair jigs, these are old hair jigs in there. I'm sure they'd work great. Hair jigs, those old tubes. God, they're slimy. There's that Gets It bait, more of that Gets It bait. More of these little hair jigs. Got a ton of these. They are slimy. Where's that paper towel? All right, this box is almost over, and this video is already 47 minutes long, so I will hustle up here. I thought I could do both of them, but forget it. There's too much crap in them. Zoom worms. Slider. Chartreuse slider worm. Haven't seen that. That hasn't seen the light of day in a while. It's like just a bag of worms. The bag is ripped, obviously. I don't know who makes these. But I see there's some power worms in here. Some more of those. I don't remember who used to make those. This, I think, is a power bait worm. But you guys get the idea. Worms, 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 lots of worms. And I must have just put them all in one bag. It's a yum. More worms, lots of worms. Bass Assassin. This is an old bag. Little swim bait. That is an old bag of baits right there. Fire Tiger Sea Shad by, I guess Bass Assassin, I guess. Well, I'm only saying that because it says Saltwater Assassin, so I'm going to assume it's Bass Assassin. So it's Saltwater Assassin. So saltwater bait. Why I bought that, I have no idea. It's like just some grape or blue, or maybe that might be black neon. Black neon 7-inch power worms. That was probably a wacky worm purchase. There's more of those grubs. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the memory's coming back a little bit. Wacky worm, no, it's like one of their things there. Let's see. Rascal worm from Lunker City. Does Lunker City still make a rascal worm? Got me, but there is one in there. Never been opened. Big Bite Baits. Chartreuse, warmouth. I know a lot of guys that like to bedfish with this. Throw them a little. Another warmouth. Love the warmouth color. Watermelon red. Can't tell. Red ghost, I think. That's a warmouth. More worms. That's a power worm of some type. Is that grape or... I'm going to assume it's black neon since everything I have in here is black neon. I want to say Venom made these years ago. Could be wrong. But I think it's a Venom. It was like a Senko, but a little different. Got those little feet on it. Got that tail on it. I'm going to take that nose off. Chop that down a little. But I used to flip these around. They worked okay. I think this was a Venom bait. I forget what they called it. They may still make it. I don't know. Check if you guys are Venom guys. Let me know if you're on the site. I just don't remember the name of it. Kalen's Grubs. More gulp stuff. Got a lot of gulp stuff to go through here. If I could bring it all back to life, maybe it'll serve a purpose. I don't know if Wave Worms, or yeah, Wave Worms is still a company. They may be, I don't know. But they made like Senko type baits. That's like a watermelon with a chartreuse tail. That's a Wave Worm. Tiki Bamboo 5-inch. I think that's June bug. Looks like two different types on there. That's a Wave Worm. I don't know, like I said, Wave Worm. They certainly made some cool colors. Does that color have a name that I could actually read? The Swirl Series, Sweet Potato Pie. Wave Worm. So it's like a Senko type bait. I'm sure if you went out and chucked them around, you'd catch some fish on them. More black neon craw tubes. Great bait. I should get back into throwing that. This is the old Strike King tube series. They did their tube technology, which the craw tube was awesome. And this is the tube lizard. That's June bug. Great. I got bags and bags and bags of those because I love that. I remember when they stopped making them, I went and bought all of them I could find because that craw tube was great. Let's see. Tubes. Big bag of tubes. You guys don't need. You guys know what tubes are? White ones. Big ones, small ones. Some of these are big flipping tubes. I just like seeing some of these old brands that I haven't, like, that's Big Boy, that's a Big Boy Baits tube. And those were kind of, I don't know if you guys can really, I don't want to rip this open because this bag is really gross. But if you can really tell, these old, I'm sure, I don't know if Big Boy's Baits still makes these, but the tube kind of had like the tube bottom, and you can see it had the tube almost coming out like claws. It was kind of different, but they were really cool. I'm sure I have some of these in a box somewhere. I just haven't thrown them. There's just a lot of these white tubes that I've bought over the years. This bag is really slimy. I mean, these are really big tubes. I don't know who makes these. These are Gitsits. Like that's a, I mean, you can see all the, whatever is on these baits to keep them not drying out. This is a Gitsit. I don't remember where I got these. Like the price tag is like falling off from all the scent on there, whatever it is. You guys can really see that. This is like a big, huge Gitsit tube. These became really popular at a time, like with bed fishing and stuff. And when I started getting into tube fishing, I would just buy, you know, every different time of tube I could find. But these are 6-inch tubes. I have no idea what color that one is. It even says it on there. Purple something, purple flake. It's probably like a smoke purple. But these are old Gitsit 6-inch tubes, which there's the white white one. I think there was a Bassmasters years ago where Ish Monroe was throwing those big, huge white tubes on beds and catching like monster bass. I don't remember, somewhere out west. Man, this bag is really gross. Because I used to, when I first got into fishing, when I would bed fish, this is what I would use, a white tube. And so wherever I went and saw white tubes, now you can see there, this used to be white. Now that, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but they're almost like, they're not really white anymore. They're like a yellowish, whitish, yellowish, whatever. This is one of those big boy tubes. So, you know what, if I can get it out of the bag, I'll show it to you. But I don't know if they make these anymore. It was kind of a cool idea. Yeah, there it is. So I don't know if you guys can really get a good look. And where the heck I bought these, I have no idea. It's probably just some small company that was around for a while. But you know, you put your tube head in there, and then your regular tube head, you've got your tube, your tube tail, but then you've got these two flopping around. So it'll give you a lot of action. It's kind of a neat idea. I don't know if you see too many tubes around like that anymore. But who made those? Where I got them? I cannot remember. All right, what do we got here? Just regular tubes. Those are probably Gitsits. Everybody's got probably a million Gitsit tubes. This is more of the Strike King. The the tube technology. That's the lizard. That's some more of those craws I showed you guys in the beginning that I didn't have any idea who made them or where they were from with that kind of weird tail. That's another bag of it, black and blue. Let's see. Just some kind of a craw in there. You guys don't. I'm not gonna go through that. Some of this stuff is like on the bottom's a little smushed. Another craw. I get so many little craws over the years. You have so many, you can't even keep track of them. That's that double tail, that Yamamoto again. All the way at the bottom. It's more of that Venom, I believe. Who made that? I hope it is Venom because I keep saying it, but it's a little tiny green pumpkin tube or a craw. More tube craws. This is gonna. I don't know if I should open this bag. I'm gonna have a lot of work to do or this box to organize it. Now here's that bait I showed you right in the beginning, and it does say Riverside on it, so maybe they're all Riverside. That bait that I showed you guys when we started this an hour ago. But it does say Riverside, so maybe, which I guess is Yum now, because it does say Yum on there. I know that was the scent, and now they just became Yum. I don't know if I can read. Everything's so faded. Beaver tail. Maybe it was just a beaver tail worm. Black neon. So that's probably what those all were. It's hard to read the package, but you can see Riverside. So I don't think you see Riverside on anything actually on Riverside baits anymore. But this is a interesting bag. What do we got here? A lot of black neon stuff. Little creature baits, lizards, little that's a white one. Just, I don't know who made these. I think this was like a Carolina rig bait. I don't remember what it was called. I don't know how well you can even see it, but you can see all the scent inside there just oozing out of these baits. I don't know if it was like an eel type bait or I don't know who made this. You guys are good with remembering baits names, but the black neon. I think this was like a bait that was kind of marketed as a Carolina rig bait. Maybe it was a power bait. Yeah, but it doesn't smell like power bait. I don't know. I don't know. But they are slimy. There's like a different color, the same bait. I'm definitely not taking that out because they are gross. Yeah, this is why. That's why everything's all yucky. These bags are ripping and everything's leaking out. This definitely needs a lot of work. Big creature bait. I don't remember who made this. Big white creature bait. More creature baits. Like I said, I have no idea who made these. They're just pack and pack of them. All it takes is one little bag like that to open up and everything is like all gross. All these different, it says creature baits on there, but that's all it says. A little craw on there. Who made those? I can't remember. That looks like a brush hog. That poor white brush hog was stuck in there with all that other stuff. That's why it's faded so much. There's more of those craws I showed you guys earlier. Some Bobby Garland custom minnows, like a fluke type bait. Love throwing a fluke, but that's a different kind. Made by Bobby Garland's Custom Minnows. Or Bobby Garland's Custom Bait. That's the custom minnow. Tennessee shad. Yeah. I used to like throwing those. There's some old flukes buried in there, all slimed up from that bag opener. Yeah. You can see the bottom of this bin. It is just all these little creature baits are all just soaked in. Almost looks like a goby style bait there. Somewhat. But just a creature style bait. Not sure what that looks like. Just a little trailer there. Some type. Little craw. Another craw. Some of this stuff I probably picked up at the Worm Barn over the years. Another craw there. Love those orange craws. Another little worm, little finesse bait. A little trailer. That's like that previous one there. Looks like little lizard. Probably that might be a slider lizard. I'm not sure. These things are so like covered with scent. I think that's a tube crawl. Another tube crawl. I'm not sure if they're kid lizards or Lake Fork. I really can't remember. Could be some random brand I just got them from. More of that craw. That crazy craw. We're not sure what the color is. They're neat looking, but how many craws can you use? Bass Magic craws. Bass Magic Fighting Craw. You guys ever buy this back in the day? This kit, Bass Magic Fighting Craw. Got Guido Hibden on there, Randy Blackett, Dion Hibden, Rick Clun. This is a Lucky Strike bait. I guess they had this craw kit you could buy. Another Riverside big craw. Old package there, old Riverside package. You guys have any of those laying around? I think it's called the air craw. I don't remember. But I guess we're getting to the more craw bait section here. Baby Brush Hog Watermelon Red. I know my buddy John will like those. Some pile of baits. More polyworms. Must have got these at the Suffering Show one year. What's this? This is like a little creature bait type thing. Like their brush hog version. Polyworms. I don't know what they call it. Brush pig or bush pig. 4-inch bush pig. Crawfish orange swirl. Polly's worms. So if Polly's worms are still around, shout out to you, man. I missed you at the show this year. I had the flu. And a bag of black neon, I believe, 4-inch tubes. So, if you like black neon, you like tubes, I got some. Oh, what we got here? Strike King. I think this is when Strike King was kind of doing like their version of a like that Elastec, I think. But this is their flukes. I just seem to remember them being too much of a pain in the neck to put on a hook. Just give me a zoom fluke, I'll be fine. Man, this is a mess. I need another paper towel. All right, almost done with this box. Oh, these are definitely. Spike It. Spike It also did flukes, I guess. Hope you guys can see that. It's not too blurred out from the light. I don't know if it's any good or not. Try and turn it away. I know it's probably going to be hard to see, but Spike It, I guess, had their own fluke. This has never even been open. Their own flukes, but kind of cool. Kind of a cool color. Holographic jerkbait. Can't really see the color because it's all. I hope that's not. You're probably not going to be able to see that with the light. If that helps at all. But Spike It had their own flukes. Oh, that's a weird color. This must have been kind of a sample pack because there's like 2 different color ones in there. So that's their fluke version. Ugh. Like these are like dripping with like from scent. This I think is a Shad Assassin. I don't think this is a fluke. Yeah, it's not a fluke. It's not a zoom fluke. That's a Shad Assassin, I believe. Which is good too. Good bait. Caught a lot of nice fish on these two. They all work. Zoom fluke. That's a Zoom Fluke Plus. I don't know why it's on the bottom there. Oh boy. That is one big bag of tubes. Tubes. Maybe some worms. If you guys remember when, let's see what else we got here. Anything that's got like a name on it, I'll show you that. But this stuff is just in bags. We're not gonna know what it is. That's just mostly tubes, but there's a couple of bags of Riverside. I'm not even sure what this is. Can't really tell. It's like a Riverside. It's like a flipping tube. Nice color of the blue. Old Riverside flipping tube there. Maybe you guys remember, I think it was at Walmart they used to sell these. You guys remember these blue packages with these FLW baits? Forrest Wood's picture on there. Remember getting these back in the day. I think at Walmart you bought these. If I remember right. And my guess is it's going to be black neon, because I can't really tell, because everything's so faded. It's probably going to be something that's black neon and something that's something that's green pumpkin, which is all I used to. Seems like that's all I threw. No, it's just a tube. Black neon tube. FLW. Yeah, it's the same thing. That's the same bait, but I believe that's just a green pumpkin. Labels falling off. But you guys remember those old FLW ones? I don't think there's anything else in here that's not just baits, like in a bag. Like that's the FLW tube in a green pumpkin just in a bag, and it's all tubes. It's all just various tubes I've bought from different places over the years. There's another one of those Bass Magic Lucky Strike 2 crawl kits, which I bet you could take these out and flip them around. Well, maybe not today, but eventually, and catch some fish. Just a weird looking creature bait thing. These are Gitsets, I'm pretty sure. A lot of these are Gitset tubes that I got over the years, I'm pretty sure. Pre-rigged tubes, yeah. Full on. This is actually, feels like jigs. This is a bag of jigs. Not the best place to have a bag of jigs with all this scent floating around, but luckily they don't feel like they're wet or rusted. These are, oh, okay. These must be those old, heavy grass jigs. I forget who made them. They get the big rattles on them. That's what these must be. Pull out the packs that are just kind of sitting there. It's just a shaky head finesse type worm. Looks like a watermelon red maybe there. Crawls. Some kind of a crawl creature bait thing there. Or the same. Crawls. Oh, there's a Strike King bait. Let's see what this is. Old Strike King package. Probably, the face is gone, but it's probably Denny Brower. This is probably a flipping tube. It's probably a Denny Brower flipping tube, which are awesome. I don't know. If Strike King, does the Denny Brower flipping tube still exist? I don't know. They still making those new? That's a good color. You go out and flip with that and catch them. For sure. Some big boy baits. It looks like a fluke style bait. That's the Shad Assassin. That's a rainbow trout color. The bags are all tearing apart. That's the Shad Assassin. That's like a rainbow trout one, I believe. Bags are all ripping. Some more flukes. These flukes are different though. I don't know why they're in here. Maybe that's more of a. Maybe that's not the super fluke. That's just the fluke. That's probably why I don't have them out. Ah, the Illusion series. Maybe you guys remember these. Some of you guys might from years back. Who made them? I'm gonna have to see if it has it on here. But these were. I did really well with these for a few years. This fluke series came out, the Illusion series, and they were like painted flukes. And I've got a box of them back there somewhere, where I took them out of these old boxes. I didn't really know I had this, but these really did great, especially in clear water, because I mean a regular fluke does well These did really great in that clear water. I don't know. Oh, here we go. If I take them all out of there. It was the Illusion series. Now, I don't know, you could probably search somewhere online, maybe find these around if you really wanted to, but they're long gone. This is probably a 90s bait. But Illusion Lures Incorporated in Oklahoma. And they made these series of flukes, and I'd gotten a bunch, and gotten a couple, did really good, and so I got like a box of them, a plain old box of them, but I didn't know I had this. This is like a nice find right here. But these did really great on these. Really great for a couple of years. It was a little stiffer plastic than a regular fluke, but did great on. That's just a green pumpkin tube. More of the Strike King tube technology lizards. I think you guys can see those. But they've been long gone. That's a fluke. Probably one that was faded, or the color got messed up, and I probably just took it out of the box. Might have got, just some sun damage, who knows. Good old Lake Fork Tackles, Magic Shad. What's that, 5-inch? Lake Fork Tackle, Magic Shad. You guys can see it. I know it seems like the light might be on the white baits. It's really too much. But I don't know if Lake Fork still makes those. They were okay. I didn't like them as much as a regular fluke, but they were okay. Here's a Fluke Junior. You say that for drop shot. Tamiki rig. This is all different, looks like different fluke baits, type baits here. You guys can see those old, like I don't know if they make these, even make these brands anymore. There's a bunch in here. Texas Assassin. They call it the Texas Assassin. Those are pretty cool colors, though, to be honest. You guys can see that. But I think that's Bass Assassin is Texas Assassin. They might have been like their saltwater brand. That's a Sluggo, which really started it all. The first soft plastic jerkbait I ever threw was a Sluggo. Gambler has their version. I don't remember what they called it. The thing is all faded out. I could kind of read it on there. Flappin' Shad, maybe. But that's a Gambler's version of it. There's the Lake Fork Shad again. Oh, this stuff is going to fall on me. That's the Gambler one. Gambler made their version. And they may still make, some of these companies still may still make it. Some flukes. That's a Zoom fluke there. Looks like a watermelon. There's a chartreuse. This is probably a Bass Assassin. It has that single tail. Maybe some regular flukes mixed in there. And there's the Lake Fork one again. Still got some of those laying around. This is some pile of crap. Here's that the Bobby Garland one. They're pretty cool. Found that on the bottom there. And a lot of the stuff, I probably just ran out of room on the pegboard, and you move the old stuff out and put the new stuff in. This is all old ice fishing stuff. I haven't ice fished in years, and I live on a lake. And the last bag in here, various tubes. Now, if I see anything with a name on it, I'll show it to you quick. And we're already at 1 hour and 15 minutes here, so if you're not asleep, you're still awake. Vertical Tube X. I don't know if anybody ever had those or heard of those. It's like a crawl. It says tube on it, but it's a Lake Fork tackle tube in there. Fat Salty Special tubes. These I can't remember. I wish I could remember where I got all this stuff. There used to be a place up in PA called Angler's Paradise where I think some of this stuff might have come from way back in the day. But I remember that I loved that color of those tubes. I thought they were awesome. Here is a company Helix X Series. Dock Waters Lure Company. Got me. I don't know if any of these companies are still around. But they made some tubes. I remember buying those back in the day. Dock Waters Lure Company. Looks like it says Austin, Texas, maybe. So, are they still around? Have they become somebody else? Don't know. Don't know. Gambler. Gambler's still around. Lake Fork. So a lot of these are like, just some, random packs of different brands in their tubes. I have no idea what that tube is. It could be Angler Select, but I'm not sure because the thing is totally faded out. It says Clifton, New Jersey as a, I don't know, was Angler Select in Clifton, New Jersey? I don't remember. It's just some Gitsits. I believe those are Gitsits. Zoom. This, I believe, are those tubes I showed you before. That chartreuse one. That's them out of their other pack. I probably got 2 packs. And you can see they were laying next to these white ones, and they're not so white anymore. And these are just, no, I don't see any brand names on anything. They're just random packs of tubes. And that, my friends, is the last thing out of that. This. You probably can't see it, but that bottom that's all the scent that has leaked out over the years of everything being in there. So, if you haven't, fallen asleep or were tired of hearing me talking about these baits, it's the longest video I've ever made, 1 hour and 16 minutes. But, when you're involved in fishing for a long time, and I have been, you accumulate a lot of stuff. You try different things, and you try this, you try that, and you find something you like, and you buy a different brand of every, style bait. So this is years and years of, fishing and bait collecting and trying out new stuff. So I hope you found it somewhat interesting. Maybe some baits you hadn't seen in a long time you thought was kind of cool. If anything I said on this that I don't remember, that you say, hey, I remember that. That's made by so-and-so. Go ahead, put it in the comments. It's cool to talk about it. But there's I don't know if I really should have done this because now I've got a big pile of crap here and I've got to try to organize it. And a lot of the bags are ripped and there's a lot of scent leaked all over the place. So what am I going to do with it? I don't know. But, the funny thing is you could take these old baits out and go out and fish them today and you would catch fish, no problem. This stuff is great. It was great then. It's great now. We just buy new stuff and we try the new stuff. So this stuff is all great. It's, some of it's, older than others. Some of it doesn't. Some of these companies don't exist anymore. But it's kind of cool to see the old stuff and kind of reminisce and try to remember where you bought it. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. I have a whole nother box here. I'll probably do the same thing. And if you like, talking about these old baits and looking at them and seeing what they look like in those old packs, then you're a tackle junkie like I am. So hope you'd enjoyed it. I hope the weather picks up and I could just fish instead of talk about stuff in my basement while it pours outside. But I feel like I've been saying that for 2 months, and that's because I have. So I'll see you guys the next time on YouTube. I have a Beast Coast order that's on the way that I was planning on doing yesterday, but it must be going to come today. I got some stuff when they had their sale, so I'll do a video on their new stuff, and I'm going to have probably a nice big tech baits box come, and we're going to go through that. So there's good stuff coming, and hopefully some fishing when the weather picks up. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on YouTube. Mark out.